Button claims that the show is live because I hit a button. It's Tuesday. What day is it? Well, I know it's Tuesday. I'm trying to think of the number. Tuesday the 9th. Oh my goodness. You guys are here. I'm here. Katie isn't here. She's got to go off and do a thing, abandoning me in this last minute. But don't worry. You're in good hands because I'll still talk to you. Don't worry. I'll keep you guys busy. If you want to join us, first of all, it's Shanahanigans Live. Usually we have a theme song right about now. Accordion. Sing-alongs, but when the other half of the show isn't here, there's no point to do a sing-along because it's like it's a sing-a-self and it's just sad and it's depressing. But next week, don't worry, we'll have a full show. So I'm going to keep this one a little short, but if you're interested in joining the chat, of course, you can go to the Google Plus Shanahanigans Live page, and that's where all the chat's happening right now. You can ask questions and things like that, and we'll get into that. And that's all fun. So be sure to ask questions if you got any. Otherwise, I'm just going to ramble off on my list. And I'm going to run out really quickly because I don't live the exciting life that I once did. I don't have too much to update with you guys with. This week, of course, if you guys are in the downtown Toronto area, it's TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival. Yes, the funnest time if you like them movies, which, I'm not sure there's too many people out there who out of their way hate movies. It's kind of like a all-encompassing thing not to like, unless you just really don't enjoy staring at something for 2 hours. I can't imagine that being the case. But I've never actually been to TIFF before. This is the first year. Normally, I've lived downtown for a good while now in Toronto, in this area, and I've just never gone out of my way to go to a TIFF film festival screening of any sort because I don't really keep track of directors and writers and creators and things like that, even though I have done a lot of that stuff myself, but more like a really tiny, minuscule budget. Not even like short film budget, like a nothing, pizza money, that's about it. But you'd think I would be more into the know when it comes to this type of stuff. I just don't really know too many directors. I don't know too many writers. If you're just joining us, the show just started. It is Shanahanigans Live. Katie's not here tonight, but she'll be here next week. But still, get into the chat, ask some questions about how's it going. Case in point, we got Matthew Pritchard saying, "Does that mean today is another yeah, man, nah?" Very good question, Matthew Bachar. For those not in the know, usually anytime we have an episode, that's just me. I tend to host a solo, and then I do a game that's kind of like a off-the-cuff RPG. That's kind of like, it's like D&D over the web usually, and I get you guys involved. I roll the dice, and there's storytelling. And it's great fun. I didn't prepare for that this time. To be fair, it's all improv, so I shouldn't have to prepare nothing. But, I didn't, hype it up and tell people, oh, my gosh, tonight's going to be Yamana. It's going to be time for, live-action LARP-type thing over the computer. You guys could be involved. And since I didn't do that, no one watching now is prepared for that either. And then people were like, what? I was just going to relax, and I was just going to have a Coke and sit back. But, but definitely we will at some point. Yamana will come back, so thank you, Matthew, for being intrigued by it. And if you're curious what it's about, look up, go to our Shanahanigans Live YouTube, and you can look up, I guess you could type Yamana, Y-E-H-M-E-H-N-E-H, or type RPG, something like that, in the search, and it should come up, because I put that in the things. But there's 2 episodes right now. The first one, of course, was The Terror of Tenure, which was great, which is about a whole troop of scientists, as well as a dolphin investigating a werewolf house. And then the second one was a superhero one, which is fascinating. I can't even explain the plot properly. It's all about this team that was a great big failure, and they didn't win in the end. Spoiler, sorry. But no Yamana this week. I'm just going to keep this episode short, and we'll just talk about the industry and stuff. But right now, we got Chris, the host, saying, "Good evening, Shanahanigans." I didn't think of that. Shanahanigans. Here's the thing. I want you guys' take on this, because this is important. Branding. We'll get back to TIFF in a second. Branding. It is an important thing. It's how people know your brand. It's how people know who you are. It's how people keep track of your existence and easily share your content. Be like, hey, check out this guy's stuff. The name Shanahanigans, we have talked about this before, is, if you look it down here, would you be able to spell that? I'm hoping I haven't spelled it right. It's mirrored for me right now. Would you be able to spell that to a friend and be like, oh, you got to go to this episode of these guys? So we are contemplating rebranding the show at some point, and usually we do a reset. We call it a season every October, because that's when we first started the show. Almost, has it been 5? No, it can't be 5 years. Good while back, 140 episodes ago in October is when we started the show, and then each October we call it a season. So possibly we'll do a little rebranding potentially for the next season. That's just some stuff we have to look into. If you're just joining us, welcome to Shanahanigans Live, or half of it anyway. Katie is not here because at the last minute she got called out by some Irish people. Take that as you will. The point is, we're going to have super happy fun times, but not the RPG time we usually do when it's me solo and I take you guys on an adventure and a journey because I didn't mentally prepare for it. You guys aren't mentally prepared for it. But I do want to do that again at some point. We will get to that. But for now, we are talking about the Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF, going on right now. I won't go in too deep because, as I was saying before, I don't know much about movies. I know how to watch them. I know how to sit down and look at it and intake it and think about it and tell people about it. But beyond that, I'm not like, there's director, what's his face, and there's producer, what's her lady, and there's that Mr. Whoever, and there's all these people, and I'm like, I don't know anybody. So I can't be like, I saw the latest someone film. That being said, this is the first time I actually did go to the Toronto International Film Festival on Midnight Madness, the very first night, in fact, for the film Tokyo Tribes. If you know the name, I believe, as I was told at the screening, it was based on a manga. I don't know how the interpretation or the adaptation went, but to explain to you what this movie is, not necessarily what it's about, what it is, it's a Japanese film. It's what is it? It's a Japanese film. It's a action, hip-hop, rap musical with fighting and violence and nudity and all that stuff that you may come accustomed to if you've been watching such films as, say, like once in a while we pick up some of the random, I don't even know what genre you call it, but stuff like Machine Girl and Tokyo Gore Police and stuff like that. Just that over-the-top, bizarre, violent Japanese, low-budget, high-concept, slightly comedy, dark film. And this is basically kind of what Tokyo Tribes was like. It wasn't as actually gory and violent as all the other ones you may have seen up until this point. This was actually a lot tamer, which kind of saved the violence for the end. Where else, in comparison to everything else I've seen of that kind of subgenre, I've been like, okay, that was like, that was very light. That was very light violence. It wasn't nothing too, unless I'm just desensitized. What do I know? But very interesting film. If you haven't seen it, which I don't know if this is the first time they screened it, but it was, subtitled, of course. And it's the whole thing is. I don't think the whole thing is all rapping. It's not like some musicals or like Trapped in the Closet where the whole thing is a continuous, beat, the same beat for every single episode except for like one or two. But at the same time, it was a lot of the rap and hip hop that happened in this. Apologize if I don't know my genres. Was very like hypnotic, very rhythmic, and it's just like you're sitting there in the audience, just kind of nodding along, going like Tokyo Tribes, da 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 da, Tokyo Tribes. I'm not in beat with it, but the point is, it's like this hypnotic movie where you just can't stop, just kind of staring at it, In any case, but that's that movie. I'll go on to some of the other ones too, and if you guys have questions, of course, you can go to the Google Plus in the chat section. Speaking of which, we have Matthew Pichard saying, I like the name Shanahanigans. It's clever. I know it is, and that's the problem with us is we love clever, but we don't appreciate practicality. Everything we do is like supposed to be so clever, and it's a play on this word, but it's like if you can't spell, like people can barely spell my last name as it is, let alone merging it with another word that's rarely used in public life. Like if you look at the proper spelling of Shenanigans with an E in it, which is otherwise fairly similar. I think like the closest thing, the closest thing to the actual use of Shanahanigans was supposedly some football coach. If you look up in Urban Dictionary, it's like he made a play or a ref or a coach, I don't know. And it's like now that's referred to as Shanahanigans because he was up to Shanahanigans. And there's clever people before us. We didn't start this. Like I didn't know that until this. And we're like, oh, this is a cute name. But we'll keep you guys posted on that. Whether that means we'd have to get a whole new Google Plus account or YouTube account or Gmail, I don't know, because that Gmail stuff is so frustrating. Where were I going at? I got a couple of notes here tonight. Once again, if you're just joining us, Katie's not here. I'm here. Deal with it for now. But she'll be back next week. What else do we see? Last night, actually. This is like a banner year for me and the TIFF because I've never gone to the film festival. Now I've seen 2 films in a row. Last night was the Studio Ghibli documentary of the name I forget, something to do with dreams and madness. The point is, it's a documentary that's set around the time of The Wind Rises being produced and made, as well as the other one that actually just came out, the TIFF 2, It's kind of like the Japanese tale and girl and a tree and stuff like that. I'm not sure. Quickly, we got Creepy Porpoise jumping in saying, hey, Shanahan's. Actually, it's singular. It's Shanahan tonight, Katie. Off to become famous and rich. So we'll have to see her next week. But yeah, no, it's rubbing elbows, man. This is TIFF season. If you know people, I don't know people. I'm not people who know people. Don't try to name drop me in your conversations. You won't get nowhere with it. You know, you can't even go to like the local deli and be like, oh, hey, Shaggy sent me, and they'll be like, out. I want to hear it. You're not getting a Reuben from me, you know. Point is, I've got no clout in this industry. But Katie's off to like meet some people. It's gonna be fun. But that being said, last night we went off to see a part of the TIFF, the Studio Ghibli documentary, or documentary based on Studio Ghibli, and basically following around Miyazaki a lot, and actually like a lot more exposure to Miyazaki than I even anticipated, because I always kind of figured he was kind of like, I don't know, like there you hear stories of when it's like, you know, these high level you know, genius creators and stuff like that, and it's like I didn't think he'd give so much like be so open with the camera. I thought it'd be very more like everything's like through a bookshelf, kind of peering in and like in the bushes when he's going in his car. I was anticipating more of a stalker film versus a documentary, but like he was like really open to talking to the camera and joking around and just being kind of honest and stuff. I'm like, this is really cool. So if you get a chance, look it up. I forget the name. It's called like of Dreams and Madness or something like that. A Kingdom of Dreams and Madness. I think that's what it's called. It was part of the TIFF, and they might still be screening afterwards. And I think there actually is another screening coming up of the other Studio Ghibli film, Princess Someone in the Woods. I don't know the names of things. I just told you recently. I don't know names of things or anythings. We also got Creepy Porpoise correcting, saying hi, Shaggy. Hi, Creepy Porpoise. And if you're just joining us, even though it's a solo show, I'm not hosting the RPG night like I normally do, because this was a last-minute decision. I would have been hyping you guys up all night, being like, get your dice ready, and we'll have this fun time together. But really good documentary, worth checking out. It was actually pretty incredible to get that much exposure into the studio and see how it works. So I guess like they're not really terribly guarded as far as I'm aware. It's just I never assumed I would find out so much information and chit chats and things like that. If you guys have been in Toronto and gone to the film festival, be sure to post what you've checked out. If any of you have, I don't know if you guys have, or if you've been to a film festival before, or if you'd like to go to a film festival before, be sure to post it in the Q&A section of the Google+. Speaking of which, as I wrote down in the comments when I made this episode post, Google has enabled something that I have no idea how it works or if it works at all. If you guys are in Google+ right now, you have the opportunity to test this for me. It is the applause and feedback option. What it is there's a picture of hands, apparently. I don't know what you guys are going to see on your end of the interface. I don't know where it is. It might be up in the top corner where there's the box of the 4 white squares and something like that. I don't know. But what it allows you to do is in real time, like, applaud your favorite moments of the live stream. Absolutely new feature. Absolutely ludicrous for the sounds of it. But since I haven't heard anything yet, I don't know if anyone's tried it yet. Or maybe you guys just hate everything that's happened so far. I don't know. The point is, I assume it's going to be one of the most distracting features ever created for a live chat show. But prove wrong. I don't know. So check that out. Give me feedback. Otherwise, we'll just disable it for every other episode coming up, just so we don't have to like hear like these ringing bells and things like that. And I guess tell me if you did post as well, because I don't know. I haven't heard. Like I don't know if the sound is on. As you may see, I'm actually in Katie's room because my place is being occupied right now. So, anywhoozle. And just say hi in general in the chat. I'm all alone here. Why don't you guys leave me like this? It's terrible. You know, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you know, you got really no way to get back to me because that's just the way that is. But if you're in the Google Plus, shame on you for not writing, for not being involved. Only you can make a difference. And I think that's Chris on the chat. Let's see. I wrote down a bunch of things just in case. Quickly, though, actually, if Angie is watching or will be watching after the fact, I do want to welcome back our ambassador from Colorado, Angie Chan, is here back in Canada, back in Toronto. And we had a little visit a little while ago where I had some nice pad thai, and she left a little drawing for me, which I didn't see until a little later. This looks to be Shizu or, oh gosh, how come I don't know her English name? Isabella from Animal Crossing doing some dishes, and she's apologizing that she left so many dishes. But we have a dishwasher, so it's cool, don't worry. But we had like a big kind of pad thai cocoa rice party when she came back during one of the biggest storms we've ever seen in Toronto for a long while. It was loud and quite fascinating. So welcome back to the country, and you know, for watching the show. What's up? What's up with you? Why don't you have a Google Plus account and you're talking to me? Other than that, I'm just like showing things now. Katie actually brought this back for me today because he's like, all right, look, you like writing things and you want to make a job of it, so check this out. So we got this book here. It's called Brian Michael Bendis' Words for Pictures, The Art and Business of Writing Comics and Graphic Novels. Ba-boom. And I haven't given it a read yet, but it's got like, throughout, I've taken a look at some of the stuff. It actually looks quite interesting. There's like stuff from Powers, of course. We saw some scenes in here from the Hawkeye series that's been coming out lately, which I love. If you haven't read this yet, it's one of the best things Marvel has ever released. Like I do not kid. I really enjoy this series for the deceptively simple art style, but it's just so effective for me, and I like it a lot better than I just like it so much. I forget who did it because once again I don't know the names. That's why I have Katie here. As I say, she's my what was it? Remember in the Devil Wears Prada, how you have like the people who help out to be like, oh, this is the Duchess of Cambridge and her husband Phyllis, and it's like, oh, Phyllis, it's like I need Katie to do that for me. So I'd be like, oh God, who's that guy? She's like, oh, that's Brian Michael Bendis. He revolutionized the comic industry. I'm like, I need that kind of situation. Let's see, jumping in quickly, we got Benjamin Boss asking, what's happening at your place? Just friends hanging over kind of thing. So I didn't want to be doing the live show downstairs and be yelling while they're trying to talk about Hannibal and things like that, or trying not to talk about Hannibal, depending on how you look at it, because some things are scary. Don't want to talk about it. We got I learned perspective today, says Chris, the host. We drew boxes and horizons. Man, here's the thing. I being the writerly half of our endeavor, Katie being the drawery half, if that's the proper word. She'll be able to tell you all about it, but I can say just from observation that yes, boxes and horizon lines. This is some of the fundamentals that you're gonna have to burn into your skull, not physically, but in your brain. 2-point perspective, anybody? How's that do you? Have you done flour sacks yet? That's always a good time. Everyone's like, you know why the carpet in Aladdin is so awesome is because he's based on the flour sack test, and you're like, oh my god. He's also kind of based on Dopey, some people say, from this book I read way back when on Aladdin. It was just like, oh yeah, the Dopey was a quiet character, he's on the carpet, he's all about moving around. I'm like, oh, very good. This is a good book. But yeah, so if you're curious about this book, I don't know anything about it yet. I'm going to give it a read over at some point, but it's the business, because that's the thing. I haven't read too much on the business of comics. We've been winging it, trial and error. We've been lucky to have mentors in certain places, but at times it also feels like we have mentors in places that are just way above us that we can't use your knowledge just yet. I don't know how to deal with a publisher because we don't have one yet. I don't know how to say things to them, but it's good stuff to have. But I feel like I need to get some more grassroots things. And that's why I also like talking to a bunch of you guys who have tips and stuff. And we have tips to share too. So if you have questions, I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you Canadian postage has gone up, and that's screwing everything for all of us. They moved the whole weight classes, kind of like what they did with our Tim Hortons coffee. They added a extra small and moved everything up one, and it got really confusing. Fortunately, I don't drink coffee, so I never had to run into that situation. But I do mail comics, so that sticks me right here. Because it screws you guys in the end. Because our book doesn't change price, but the shipping does, and I don't want to do that, but we have to. That's the way it is, so be aware of that. Also, just because I'm thinking of quick tips right now, just throwing it out there. Since the school year has just started, bear in mind if you are going to, this is not connected to anything, but if you are going to do a Kickstarter or something of some sort, we're in the future going to be doing shipping. Always bear in mind what seasons are when people move, moving from school in and out, because all their addresses are going to change, and you're going to have to contact everyone to make sure they still have the same address. And again, with this before, no university or college email accounts, because those things are tricky and they sometimes don't let you send messages to them. And I think there's one person we've never gotten in touch with the original Silly Kingdom that I've been trying to. It's just if that's you, get back to us. We got Sarah Quarian jumping in saying, I have so many books about animation and the art that I bought but never had the patience to finish. Yeah, that's me too. Like I have a bunch of these books that are like guerrilla filmmaking, how to film behind a security guard's back and he won't notice, and all these like cute little tips and things. And I've like flipped through it because I got it at like a garage sale. I'm like, well, that's helpful, and then that was the end of it. I've never read the whole thing. Like there's plenty of books out there, of course. But you always have to like make sure, is this the right kind of book? Is this by someone who's actually done it, or like gave up and tried to sell on the fact that they never made it all the way? I don't know. Of course, there is that super animation handbook, the big white one that's like bigger than your head, and it's kind of like everybody. I think it's even called like the guide or animator's guide or whatever. It has like all the characters on the front cover doing the walk. It's probably in this very room as we speak, waiting to jump out at me. The point is, even I was looking through that and being like, damn, there's some good stuff too. For all you animators who, you don't want to pony out the bajillion dollars that a lot of these books will cost, I do recommend checking out Harry Partridge. He's the guy who does. You may have seen a lot of his animations, like. I'm trying to think of some examples, actually. They're web animations he does in Flash. There was like one that was like the... God, I'm forgetting people's names all of a sudden. The Justin Bieber sitcom, or like his Skyrim things when he's singing about how like Skyrim's coming, so he's abandoning his family and stuff. He actually has a how-to series online. It's a part of a different... It's not part of his website, but he'll have links to it. But it's a part of this thing called like How-Tos or H2, and basically look up Harry Partridge and How-To. And he has this tutorial series that you don't have to own Flash to do it. Now, find Flash some way, or Toon Boom or Anime, whatever the hell people use these days. But he does like grassroots knowledge and lessons from animation, all the squash and stretch, all stuff about keyframe, and I don't even animate or draw, but I just watch it because it was just fascinating to see him like talk about. Trail reaction, that's not the right word for it, but it's like, say you have this thing and has a ponytail on it, and how this will move, but this thing doesn't move exactly with it because then it's all stagnant, and how it's always one step behind. So it's like, and it was like this guy was like, his hair was that extension, So once again, look up Harry Partridge How-Tos if you want to get like a real, kind of a quick introduction to animation. There's of course lots more knowledge out there, but it's definitely worth watching, I feel, and it's absolutely free. For you guys to check out on the YouTubes, just whatever software you have. Once again, if you're just joining us, this is Shanahanigans Live. We're lacking in a Katie right now, but she should be back next week. So I'll just be fielding any questions you guys got, which are a couple there. I also have a couple topics that we can blast through. But we won't do a terribly long show unless you guys distract me enough that I don't realize we've gone over an hour. So we'll see what happens. We got Alicia Donong saying, flashbacks to emotional breakdowns in perspective class. Yet last year. Yeah, like here's the thing. You will see art in a lot of series that do bend the rules, and there's there was one of my favorite examples actually. I think it was a Canadian show, Ned Newt. This was way back in the early days of Teletoon, and it's like this kid who had Newt who was basically like the genie, or like the Mask, or Beetlejuice, like any of these kind of characters who all change shape and like do jokes based on pop culture and stuff like that. And it was basically like a kid and his transforming Newt. But like all the scenery was like always kind of like nothing seemed like it was right. Like there was a matter of perspective, of course, in it, but everything was always kind of warped, and like if a door, you've probably seen art like this before, where like a door, all the squares on the door are like diagonal and all over the damn place, but it works. And always the knowledge of that is like you have to know the rules before you can break the rules. So perspective class will destroy you, but it will make you stronger. It's like in the military, or supposedly, where like the boot camp breaks you down to make you stronger. It makes you into nothing, then it makes you into something, or I don't know. Animation's very similar. Lots of metaphors, allegories. Chris the host saying, "Oh, I got that book. I believe in reference to the big white book that has everything in animation ever." So you'll probably get further in that book than I ever did. I was like, someday I'll animate. Nah, I'm just writing. Never got to it. And I think Benjamin Boston says the Animator Survival Guide. Yes. To this very day, like that book has held the test of time because it has, like the fundamentals, like techniques and software will change all the time, but the fundamentals, they're fundamentals for a reason because they work. It's just like you'll see all those techniques whether you're watching Korra, you'll see those techniques whether you're watching Strong Bad, or I'm just coming up with any reference I got. Anything you watch, like there's different cultural sensibilities, of course, between the different arts and like different regions of the world. But like a lot of the basics of animation, it's all about basically tricking your eyes to believe motion is happening to still images, and they do a damn good job of it. That's also my favorite, is when in shows people find freeze frames of stuff that's like during the stretch, and it's like the weirdest thing ever. But like someone drew that knowing it was gonna work. You know, feels weird that I'm giving you guys all this animation tips and stuff. I'm not an animator in any sense. I've moved. If you want to see one of my most recent things I've ever animated, go to my Uber Friendship site, and in the pilot section, there's this thing called Misery Kitchen, which I did one episode as a test. But I did an animated intro, which I wanted to be very much like the PBS Mysteries kind of thing, or you may have seen parodies of it in like Sesame Street, or even Arthur, I think some parodies of it. But it was kind of like that. God, what's the guy's name? It's black and white art. I don't know the guy's name, but it's like a Vincent Price narrated type thing. And it's just like supposed to be kind of dark and sketchy. So I want to recreate that, where I have like a kitchen and like a detective, and I painstakingly animated, not using like keyframes. I was actually in After Effects animating the detective walking, and I wanted to look kind of like disjointed and thing, and it almost worked too well because he's just like got these legs that are like oddly. It's the most over animated thing in the whole intro, where else everything else is just sliding on keyframes. He's like walking frame by frame, and his ankle rolls and his knees bend. It's just like, but once again, the characters were designed by Angie. So big thanks for that again too. But check it out, Misery Kitchen from Uber Friendship. And if you like it, post something to say that you want to see more episodes. I know some people actually do want to do some episodes where we go to my kitchen and make those dumb tiny candy foods that you get from the Japanese toy packages that you get to eat. Or type Misery Kitchen maybe on Google. I don't know if it'll show up, but anyway. We got Liliana saying hi, Shaggy, and I say hello to you too. Thanks for joining us. Me. We got Yaiba saying, a quick aside, anyone else see a thumbs down icon under the stream? Wait, you mean you're looking for one? Or someone left one? If you're looking for it, no one tell Yaiba where it is. We don't need that. Nobody needs to know about that. If you guys want to counterbalance, supposedly the word is, for every one negative comment, you need 10 positives to make you feel better. So if you see the stream on YouTube, be sure to click the thumbs up and make me feel better, because my emotions are directly tied to seeing a visual representation of a thumb pointing in a vertical, upwards, or downwards angle. We're stronger than this, everyone. We're stronger than this. But if you have questions about writing, I could probably tell you about something about that. Not that I'm a teacher in writing or nothing, but I did some writing today. And I got caught in that wave once in a while. Like sometimes, some people get writer's block, where it's more of the sense they don't know how to end a scene or something like that. And I don't get that as much as I get writer's unenthusiasm, where I'm just sitting in front of the computer. I'm just like, I'm not in the mood to do this. And I end up doing other things because I have a bajillion things to do. Today was nothing like that at all. This was not writer's unenthusiasm. This was writer's enthusiasm, which is the opposite of the thing I just said. And I was just blasting. And as I posted on Twitter, it wasn't even an exciting script or nothing. This was just kind of like a small personal story, not about me necessarily, but like the characters were kind of having this kind of mental like what's going on over there. Like it's basically a story of like a parent wondering if she should have like if her son is old enough to be like left home alone or something like that, and while she's away, it's like all paranoia. And like I have no experience of being like a parent or anything like that. I have been an older brother to like a youth. But it's just I started writing it, and it started becoming so personal, even though it wasn't my like direct experience of being a parent. And I was just like, I couldn't stop typing this chapter, and it kept going. And then I ended, and I was just like, the day went by. I looked out the window and realized I haven't eaten food yet, and I'm like, oh shoot! So good writing day for me. Pat on my back, thumbs up on my YouTube stream. But hopefully you guys can find things like that too. I know a lot of us do having like our enthusiasm can be down at times where it's not in the mood to do the things we want to, but like, when you catch that wave and you ride it all the way out to the surf core, it's good. It's good stuff. Yeah. That's the whole thing. It's always like writers got it right. Right. So there you go. We have Yaiba. What did I do? I broke this thing. I keep breaking Katie's mouse. We got Yaiba saying, in a correction to the last statement, no, I mean, there are new icons there now, but I wasn't sure if it was something I added or something Google added. Is it in the Google Plus or in the YouTube stream? I'm not sure where I'm assuming you're in the Google Plus. Yaiba, actually, since you're interacting with the visuals, do you see the clapping hands visual anywhere? Or is it in a square in one of these corners that's like a hidden option, very much like the chat option itself? because I did enable it because Google Plus was like, hey guys, new feature, applause button. This looks annoying, and I just enabled it for kicks. I don't know if it's on or if it worked at all. And if it is, press it, and if I hear applause, I'll be like, that's funny once, and then every other time I'll be like, I hate this. We got Sarah. Sorry, I'm just going in order, but you guys can also vote up chat if you're like, oh my gosh, this person has the best comeback. I have to vote for it. You can do that, but right now everyone's voted 1. And whoever gets the most votes win. I think someone had 2 or 3 by now. You win the show. We got Sarah saying, I always wanted to try to make animation rigs in After Effects, but I got overwhelmed. Okay. There's a lot of tricks with After Effects. The most basic rigs, which pretty much is the most experience I have, is the puppetry system. No, not even that, just the parenting system. The parenting system of After Effects is essentially saying this layer is, and there's even a pick whip to visually do this, is whoop, whoop, attached to this layer. So when you move this layer up, this layer moves. If you rotate this layer doesn't rotate in sync with it, but it rotates in relation to it. There are other ways to do that where you can connect specific parameters. So if I want these 2 wheels to spin exactly the same, I can drop it down and go, here's the rotation, I want to parent the rotation of this, the rotation of that. So they will both literally spin on the spot. But when you just overall parent one item to the other, it almost like orbits, basically. It's like a global setting. And you can create like basic, you just think about them like paper puppets. This may not be the best method of animation, but if you are actually animating something that's supposed to be like a marionette or a puppet, or more simple things, you just, basically the torso is the middle of everything. And if you have a neck on the torso, or if the neck's on a joint, then you attach the neck to the torso. Then you attach the head to the neck. Then you attach the higher arm to the shoulder. Then that arm, forearm, I don't know, other arm, lower arm to there. Then the hand to that. Then the fingers to that. And you're basically outwards from the body core, parenting every layer to create a puppet, where your center layer is the chest, basically, and you're kind of moving that along. Where this gets tricky and where there's a lot of coding and stuff you can go into in the After Effects expressions is those puppets interacting with things. Because if you want to do a puppet to walk and you're just moving it along from the chest, the legs will just go through the floor. Like, the legs aren't going to react to a physical layer. I believe there are ways to do that. I haven't done it yet because I haven't done too much character animation in After Effects, but there are ways to make things react to each other. So if I, if I move this guy's arm towards a wall and it does have a hinge, it would go in and then by itself slide. And that's more akin to 3D software. After Effects, I think, natively can do it through the coding, but it's not. It's like extra layers of learning. But you can do very simple parenting puppetry in After Effects and make like a decent rig. If you want to do more like Flash and character talking, you're going to have to make a bunch of pre-comps. The head, like hands, arms, anything that you need to switch, you can have them exist in their own pre-comp, and I believe Flash operates like this too, where the head would be its own pre-composition, and inside you'd have multiple, like you'd have the eye comp, the nose comp, and there would be pre-comp within pre-comp within pre-comp. Can be a little overwhelming, but once you get used to it, it's just basically like a series of folders. Like, the head is a folder. Inside the head is eye folders, nose folders, mouth folders. Inside those folders is your phonemes, your A, E, I, O, U, your Meowful, I think, is the phoneme collection. But it can be done. A bunch of shows were actually done with After Effects. I believe Blue's Clues was done After Effects. If you remember MTV's Spy Groove, I believe that was done in After Effects. Yeah, lots of stuff actually with After Effects, though generally most animation, at least in Toronto, tends to be either like Toon Boom or Flash. Similar principles. It's all like keyframes, nesting, and pre-comps, but it's worth trying. Start simple. Start just with a head. Start just with the rig, a little dancing character, But then you're going to get to like your camera angles and your 3 points. After Effects is fantastic to learn. It's what I started my career with. I did it as a hobby just because I wanted to learn motion graphics, and it's one of the most useful software to have in your pocket. It pretty much, you will run into limitations once in a while, but beyond that, it's pretty much limitless. I know that's a completely counter statement of what I just said, but basically you can do so much with it that it's good to have. We got Matthew Pichard with a vote of 2, saying the applause button doesn't make an applause noise, it just makes a point in the video with a thumbs up. Weird, because the ad basically said it had a picture of like, unless just is my thing muted? I don't know. Let me check. Because it said in the ad, it's like, oh, you can hear when people like something. I'm like, oh, okay, and there's a picture of waveforms being like, oh, look, audio. I've yet to hear anything. Matthew, click that button. Yaiba, do it also. Yaiba actually says also saying about it. Google Plus, no clapping hand, but when I click thumbs up, I hear applause. Oh, you hear applause. And like yellow guy pops up and gives me a thumb. So you guys get the thumbs up for liking something. That's great. That's a great feature. Revolutionary. Amazing. We'll segue into something about great features in a second. But I'm just going to read a couple more of these chats. We got Sarah with a vote of 2 saying, talking about writing, are you excited to see how the new Batgirl is going to be written? The absence of DC's trademark dark storytelling. I'm very excited for that. I picked up the new, New 32 actually worked for me, not in the sense like I think everything's genius, but it's like I needed that refresher. I needed to start somewhere new because I'm like, I get overwhelmed when it comes to like superhero chronology and canon and stuff like that. So I appreciate a good reset. I like that with Ultimates. So I'm like, okay, I can start here. Any of the Ultimate lines, I can start fresh. I don't have to know like Gwen Stacy and the Falcon. Like I don't know anything. Let me start fresh. Though that being said, the Batgirl New 52 still had the pretext of Barbara Gordon being in a wheelchair previously, and now her being Batgirl was like so, and one that was directly tied to the and even like Batwoman, kind of like she started close to the New 32 and then she started again, but it was like the same story, and I'm like, it still got confusing. The point is, I liked the Batgirls I was reading. I believe that was a Gail Simone run. Am I correct? And it was just what I liked about it was just her dialogue, where it's like she does a lot of the same actions of like jumping down thugs and beating them up, but like her dialogue I was enjoying because it was a lot more relatable. It was a lot more like dry and realistic and almost Marvel-esque in a way, where it's like what real people would say in these situations, and it's like, oh, my rib, I don't know. I enjoyed it. So, was it dark? I don't think I finished that run, but the point is, if it gets even like lighter, I don't mind that. I know there's room for everything, of course. There's room for darker, heavier themes. There's room for, which I feel is more of the Batwoman, fits more into that mold anyway. But I do see like Barbara being more of like a light kind of story of like her version of being a Gotham knight is like the lighter end of it, even though she deals with a lot of the similar like group, not as sarcastic per se as like a Spider-Man, but so anything that's like sillier or a little more levity, I'm all for. So I'll definitely check it out, I guess, at some point. Yes. So to answer your question, yes. We got Benjamin a little while ago saying, I got back from a block party. That's what took me so long today. Oh, don't worry. I'm not rushing anyone to see this show. You take your time. Oh gosh, there's a problem with me trying to select chat. Thank you, Google Plus, for making things harder to do. I've seen I've seen words for pictures at my local comic store. I do a lot of drawing and learned plenty about drawing from comics. Will this help me profoundly with my writing half of comics? With the writing half of comics. Okay, let me just read that again. I'm butchering things. I've seen words for pictures at my local comic store. I do a lot of character drawing and learning. Honestly, anything you read, anything you do, will be influential in some way or other. What you get out of it, whether you emulate someone's work or kind of like take note of what works or what didn't, that's basically what any of this is about. My suggestion, unless like words for pictures is something specific, I don't know if that was a specific thingy or a book or something like that. But essentially, like anything you've read, not even just comics. Like I started like just watching. Watch random things. Watch people do like, here's the history of Rome from whatever, and like not even the storytelling, like kind of getting the idea of how they tell the story. Is it a compelling story of this history? Anything you read, watch, intake will influence how you do things, assuming if you let it, like or even subconsciously it may. So overall, everything's helpful to a degree, be it for learning you like what not to do, what to do, what works, was the timing of this punchline right, could it have used another beat, maybe this could have used more of a stark moment, a wide shot, I'm not sure if you're writing half, if you mean you're doing exclusively the writing and not the visuals, like if you want right camera work, because that's something that you may have influence on as well, depending on how you work with your artist. With me and Katie, I rarely put in camera things unless I think it's really important to a gag. Because like she's a storyboard artist, she knows this stuff back and forth. She's still learning, but like, she knows her camera work. I'm not gonna be the one being like over shoulder, high angle, low angle, close up. I'm like, here's what they say. whatever you think works is probably the best, you know. Once in a while, I'll write something specific. If I'm like, this has to be like a low angle where you see the spoon in shot or something like that, because it's funnier. Like that's, you know, once in a while I have it burnt into my head. But yeah, basically, I don't know if profanely would be the word, but anything you read and look into can be helpful. Yeah. We got Creepy Porpoise saying, no one ever checks their school email. This is from a little while back. Why they would use one of those to back a Kickstarter is beyond me. Maybe it's just because like back in the day that was like your first email. Like think about it now. Like, I don't know how old you guys are, but when was your first email? You know, like when did you do it? Did a friend be like, oh my gosh, you gotta try this Gmail thing, or was it like, well, my family got friggin' AOL, so I have my name at AOL.com. You know, like I don't know. So maybe some people's first email was, you know, universities, and just never left it. I don't think I can still use mine. Weird. I'm just gonna grab a quick drink of this chocolatey biscuit water milk thing. That's repulsive. Once again, if you have any more questions, not saying I'm like the master of anything, but you know, I can give you my 2 cents, and you can use it as you would. Good jorb. Just telling me I had a good jorb. Anyway, let's see if I had anything else written down. I had a bunch of things, but we don't have to do too much. I recently started watching, speaking of comics, we may have talked about it before, is it Geiken Shoujo Nazaki-kun? It's like, essentially, it's this anime series. I think it's based on a comic, but it's this anime series about this character who is basically a shoujo comic artist, and a girl who was like asked him out just as him learns this later, and then she starts like becomes a member of his team or something like that. And it's actually really cute and funny. If you're into comic making, it's actually interesting right now that there seems to be a bunch of like anime or manga series that are based on the making of comics. There was that one by the guy who worked on Death Note. It was called like Bakugan. I don't know, something with a B. But it's like there's content out there. There's like, you know, they've gone full circle basically, where it's like, I'm gonna make stories about dragons. It's like, I'm gonna make stories about street racing. It's like, I'm gonna make stories about people making stories. It's just like we're back there. But like, so there is literally some anime or manga series for every subject matter at this point. So you can never feel left out. Something for everyone. So check that one out. It's called Genki. What did I say? Gekan Shoujo Nazaki-kun. Like this, you may have seen. We've talked about it before. You may have seen some art on Tumblr of like all these like shoujo characters standing on boxes because they're drawn like in wrong perspective and stuff. And it's just like this weird, silly series I find entertaining. I haven't actually watched too much yet. Only 1.5 episodes, but we're getting there. Yaiba saying, so now that con season is over, what now? Now we get back to work. Our convention season often starts. When does it start? I guess the proper, because I know Ape is coming up. We're not going to that. Our convention season usually starts, I guess, in spring, and we just do kind of a couple of cons in North America. Not too many, but yeah. Now it's done. Yeah, we just gotta make more stuff, right? We gotta save money, figure out what trips we want to take next year, figure out what we're going to bring with us. But yeah, no, that's kind of the state of things. Let's just get back to the grind. I'm basically trying to write a lot more stuff for different mediums and different artists. Right now, I'm actually working on a comic with someone. I don't want to say anything too soon because we haven't ironed everything out yet. I'm working on a giant robot series I've been plotting for a while. It's gonna be great. Pre-order now, go for it. Beyond that, I'm trying to get some like animation pitches together because there's if you live in Toronto area, I don't know if you have to, but Byte Mondo has been posting stuff around having their pitch sessions open for basically 2.5 to 3 minute short series of those shorts. I'm not sure how many episodes, but it's something I just want to kind of like. I'm working on something to send their way, just to be like, let's see what this is like, because there's not really too many places to pitch to in Toronto, as far as I'm aware. Because once again, we've talked about with our friend Andrew Murray how Toronto tends to be the service country to the American, U.S. animation creative industry, where we kind of like do what they tell us for lower pay, or else they get to make up what they want to do. So our only options are really the web, or some company that is on the web. There you go. But I feel like I'd rather, like, if I could, try to pitch an animation for a web company, because I'm terrible at managing, like, websites and things like that. So I'd rather someone else, like, have the infrastructure where things will be posted versus me being like, hey guys, come check out my thing, because I'm just like, it's on YouTube and it's probably going to get copyright struck down for some reason I didn't see it coming. Because that happens. If you've ran your own YouTube channel, you'll be surprised why your videos get taken down. Yep, or not. Corrected and voted with 3, Bakuman. It's about people making comics. That's what this show's about too, technically. How about that? Sarah Corey Insane. I have a table at Montreal Comic-Con this week. I'll try to not get con plague. I've been actually pretty lucky that I've either my immunities, like when I get sick, I am done. Like I will not move. I'm over. I will lie there and watch a whole season of something that I haven't watched yet. But most of the time I don't catch like these con plagues. I've gotten away. I've been to PAX. I've been to Fan Expo. I've been to, Con Bravo. I've been to freaking Comic Con. I've been to San Diego. I've been to Seattle. I've been to all over. But I never get sick from the cons. So, basically wash your hands. Like, if they're like, hey guys, check out this video game, and you're like, oh, this game's fun, don't lick your hands right after. That's my first tip. Secondly, always carry around a little bottle of Perella, that stuff, Like, there's that thing, you're going to shake a lot of hands at these cons when you're at a table, because people are like, oh my god, you shake hands. And I know you don't want them to see, like, while you're talking, like, oh, interesting. Like, be polite, don't do that right away, but as soon as they leave the table, like get it under the table, start getting that hands all alcoholized, you're good to go, because you do not want to get the con plague, especially when you're doing like a 3-4 day convention. Other than that, you can always wear like oven mitts and just give people fist bumps. I don't know what else to say. Also, eat healthy. If you're at these longer cons, you might be tempted to get the con pizza. Unless you're in Chicago, don't. Bring some fruit. Bring some. I don't know. Like, be careful what you bring. You also don't want to like bring like nuts and things when like some people might have allergies. But like, I don't think anyone is really allergic to fruit, as far as I'm aware. Bring some healthy snacks, because like you can go nuts on the Cheetos and then all your comics are orange. Careful. Anyone have con plague stories? Only like happy ending ones. I don't want to like get everyone depressed. I know we can be raw and real at times, but like I try to keep things light, and I don't want to like start a sentence with a smile and then just be like, ooh. Speaking of smiles, I haven't seen this yet, but the Sailor Jupiter episode, I believe, has come out for the new Sailor Moon Crystal. I haven't watched it yet, but people sound happy, especially that Sailor Jupiter has the very same lunch bag that she does in the original, so some things never change. That's my review, because I haven't seen it yet. But also, if you're around, I believe it was this past weekend, Viz was holding a Sailor Moon slumber party where they released, I believe, the first 4 episodes of the English dub, the new English dub of the original Sailor Moon series, and it was like everyone was online, like streaming and jammies and like watching Sailor Moon together, which must have been oodles of fun. I didn't do that either. That's my review. If you were that, give me a heads up how it was. Okay, so on to the big news, of course. Technology section of the show. Friggin' iWatch. I don't know much about it. Just found out like right before this happened, but Apple's got this watch. It's all phone now, and now we are all Inspector Gadget. Finally, the day has come. And it has apparently animated emoji. So like you can send people the face and it moves, and you're like, ah! No, it's more like, ah! Now, I don't wear a watch even on a regular basis. I stopped wearing watches ever since I got phones. So I don't know if I need this. That's the end of that story. If you guys are tech heads and you think the iWatch is something to keep an eye and watch on, God, tell me, and we'll talk about it. Might be a new format for your comics if you design your comics for watch aspect ratio. So it's like, remember that Doctor Who episode where it's like everyone had their brain connected to the news, and then it's like, now joke, and then everyone's like, ah ha ha ha. And it was like really creepy. You can do that, but for the watch, so everyone's like, oh, the new comic, panel, ha ha ha. Then they go to work. World's changing. Keep on top of those formats. Speaking of those formats too, of course, pitching stuff. Amazon is always looking for new stuff, I think, because they want to kick Apple's ass. So if you have anything you want to pitch, maybe Amazon might be the route. Or Netflix. I haven't watched really much of the Bo Horseman thing yet, but anyway. Yeah, I've been asking, any thoughts on Destiny? Well, I don't have a next-gen system yet. I'm a friend who really wants me to play it, and I know I really want to play it too, but I also know that I need to find a job or some way to sustain my living in the next while, since I'm technically freelancing until then. But I feel if I buy a new game system and a game that's all about online funness, I will be lost in that world forever. This is precisely why I've never played World of Warcraft or Minecraft. Not that I don't think I'm strong enough, but when I get into games, segue. I started Mario Galaxy Sunday, and I finished it also on Sunday. So when I get into games, I will get into games. Now when I say finished it, I didn't do everything. I only got the first 104 stars, because that's all you can get. And then I beat Bowser, and then I got the ending that was really reminiscent of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Very depressing and deep. And where was I after that? Doors opening. Oh my god. Jerry. Hi, Jerry. Want to be on the show, Jerry? Cool. Point is, I still get those damn purple coins, and they are frustrating to get. If you haven't played Mario Galaxy, I'm talking about the original one on the Wii. Man, those purple coins, one of them is you have to do a whole lava level without getting hit once. These are like the challenge coins, and they will drive you mad. Oh my gosh, I still did it. Of course I did. There's one where we had to get all 100 coins, and not... Actually, no, that wasn't the coin challenge. That was a regular challenge. Still the combat challenge. The point is, if I get Destiny now, you will never see another Silly Kingdom. So, look that up. I have self-control. We have Matthew Pritchard asking, do you have any funny con stories, Shaggy? Oh, gosh. This is why I fear being on a panel. Because if I'm asked questions, I have to come up with something snappy. So I have to, relook over my life. Funny con stories. That's tricky. Funny con... Oh, my gosh. I can't think. Throw me keywords, and I might come up with one. No, I don't want to use that story. Oh wait, okay. No. I can't think. All my when I think funny, I go to the traditional sense of what a Shakespearean comedy is, where it's so depressing that you can't help but laugh. Because a lot of my stories are more awkward stories. All right, fine. You want an awkward story? This is I have a history of not being good at talking to people that I am what's the word? Fanizing. Fan of. Yeah. The fact I couldn't say that is case in point. Anytime I run into Brian Lee O'Malley, I always figure I screw something up. Brian Lee O'Malley, of course, the creator of Scott Pilgrim, which we actually have a little Ramona hanging on Katie's year-round Christmas tree. It was cute. I ran into him once at it was Anime North or something like that. And by ran into him, I mean he was at his table and I went there. And I knew at the time that I think it was for Scott Pilgrim 3 or I don't know, something was coming out, and they had this custom cover that was it was stickers or something of the it was the Mario 3 for Nintendo cover with Mario flying in the roller coaster with Scott, and I knew these were going to be there, so I went to ask him. But I get to his table, and then I'm just I'm lost for words. I don't know if it's you call it starstruck or just I'm a moron. I got there, I'm just no, they're buttons. I remember they're buttons, so that's integral to this plot. And then I'm just you got Mario 3 with the Scott Pilgrim with the buttons with the Mario and the buttons and the thing, and he's just not, I don't even know if the word is taking it in. He was just standing there, staring me down, I'm what is the buttons? Yeah, and then he says, we don't got any more buttons. I'm okay, bye. And then I leave. I'm stupid. I talk better than this. I'm online for gosh sake. And I feel anytime I run into people who I'm a fan of in that respect, I just can't talk straight. I'm just not good. I don't know. I always screw it up whenever it's people like, I know their work. I'm like, boo. Like I think when I ran into like it was at PAX East like 2 years ago. Lindsay Small, Butera, and oh, what's his name? Sorry, I'm once again bad with names. But like they just tweeted last minute that they showed up at PAX, and so I went there, and I'm just like standing at their booth, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do now because I think they know Katie, and so I want to be like, hey, I also know Katie because I'm her brother, and I was just like, are you with the animation and the punch and thing and Spider-Man and I'm just I'm the worst. So I don't necessarily have like funny con stories. It's just me being amazingly awkward. Yet if you come to me at my table, I could jam with you. I could talk amongst the best of them. We could tell stories and sing songs. But like when I go and be like, "There's my favorite person," you know, there's Edgar Wright at this film fest. I'm like, it's a hot fuzz. And I'm like, all right, I'm the worst. Yeah, going back to Destiny, says, no, think of the children, no Destiny for you, and that might be the case. But I did say, if I do get another full-time job, I reward myself by picking up the Xbox One. I know some of you may be the PlayStation guys, but like, this is the whole South Park situation. You got to go with your friends, you know, because if you want to do multiplayer, I don't want to do it with jerks I don't know. I want to do it with my friends, and most people I know are Xbox people. What can I say? The controller's comfier. PS3 controller, I break in half, man. Though to be fair, as far as next gen, I did buy a Wii U first because I'm just like, say what you will. Some people are naysayers of Nintendo ever since like whatever. I don't even know what the reason would be, but get everyone together for some Nintendo Land on the Wii U, and it is one of the funnest damn nights you'll ever have. Like hands down, I'm crying laughing playing this game. The Creepy Porpoise can attest to this. You know, like when she came by, like it was, my God, the Wii U, and then Mario Kart 8. I went back. Okay, going back to why I had Mario Galaxies. I know there's other chats in the chat. Don't leave it yet. I want to get to it. I know why. Like I went back to play Mario Galaxy because I'm like, you know what? I never gave it a fair shake. I never really played the Wii too much. I started a lot of games I never finished because I just never. Like once I moved out, I didn't take the Wii with me because I'm like, my younger sister likes it. I don't really need it. You know, everyone likes the tennis. Whatever. I went back to play Mario Kart 6 or Mario Kart Wii, and like this is only like I know since then there's been like Mario Kart 3DS or DS, I'm not sure which came in between, but like even that recent, Mario Kart 8 is amazing compared to. Now I love Double Dash. I haven't played it in a while. Double Dash is one of my favorite Mario Karts because it's like you can do co-op, friggin' all-cup challenge. You play every single track with two people on the same car. Just if you want to like increase your bond with like your friends or your siblings or your respected loved ones, get a copy of Mario Kart Double Dash and get on the same damn car and work together to get those cups. Because man, it is a fun time. But Mario Kart 8, it's fantastic how good it is. It is like one of those rare gems where I'm like, they've taken like everything they've learned since '93 or whenever the first Mario Kart came out, and they've just made a brilliant game. They've taken stuff from F-Zero, they've taken stuff from other racing games that they've made or played, and it's just like, my gosh, if you naysay that on the Wii U because it's like all kiddie and stuff, I'm like, I am tired of the shooting, honestly. I enjoy a good Halo, and I never was a big Call of Duty guy, but like I enjoy like the shooting, but like after so many years from like the original Xbox all the way to now, it's like, why must everything die? Can't we just drive around and have a good time? Mario Kart 8, I can't recommend it enough if you haven't played it. If you have friends who have it, go live with them. That's my review on the back of the box. Oh, man. So yeah, that's the point of that story. Mario Kart 8. It is Civilization. And man, it's going to have the Animal Crossing tracks in May? Are you kidding me? Why is that so far away? I want it now. You're damn right I pre-ordered it when it showed up. I'm like, yes, I want Nintendo to know that I demand these things of them. Yay, Nintendo. They're fun. Freaking Zelda Warriors is coming out. Hyrule Warriors is coming out. Okay, we got Sarah saying, let me see if this will crash. No problem. Okay, there it is. I have a story. I think it's a con story. Someone wanted a sketch commission, and I told them that they could come back in 30 minutes and get it after I'm done, but they insisted on watching me draw for the whole 30 minutes. So hard to draw when people are watching. And I bet like at the 15-minute mark, you're like, you can go and like get a con pizza or something like that. You can go, and they're like, oh no, I'm good. And you're just like, that's the thing. Like I fortunately no one asked me like write anything for them at the con, so I'm not like, oh damn it. But I know some people have a hard time doing the drawing as well as like maintaining the booth, because it's like you gotta sit there and like do this while people are still coming up to you, and then you realize it's like, are you coming back tomorrow to the con? Because I can't finish this here. This is like, I'm so busy. So yeah, that definitely can happen. But at the same time, people are genuinely content to not say anything and just watch you draw. It may feel a little weird, but like if they feel they have to talk, it might even be more awkward because they're just coming up with nothing. But if you're cool to just let them watch, that's cool too, because they are just enjoying the process. There's drawing tutorials online, sure, where you get to see like the Photoshop time lapse or whatever it is. But actually being able to watch someone put stuff together, you're like, holy jeez, that's really cool. Like that was I think I talked about the last show. When Kazuo Kibishi from Amulet was in Toronto, I went to his talk at the library, and just while he was answering questions, he was just making this scene, basically painting in Photoshop and creating this environment, and I was just like fascinated by the process. If it was silent, maybe that would have been awkward. So I'm glad they were talking at this lecture. But on the one-on-one level, people do also just like to enjoy watching. We must, I guess, learn what is awkward. Is it more awkward for someone to stand over you and watch, or is it more awkward to be making small talk that you can't focus on, or must we learn how to repel the awkwardness when we're in the zone? This is like why people go to improv classes, because like they feel talking in public and acting in public is like awkward and nerve-wracking, but like once you get past that, you can just do it and not worry so much. So maybe I don't know. I'm not the artist half of it, so I can't say for certain. But yeah, definitely, it's not too bad if people have to watch, unless they're like blocking your light. I don't know. Just standing over the art, and you're like can't see the light. We got Matthew Pritchard saying, yeah, Nintendo Land is awesome with a crowd. I got it recently, and me and 5 of my siblings were having a blast with it. Good times, good times. It is Nintendo Land. If you haven't yet, it's basically, I want more Nintendo Land. I know it's kind of their tech demo. Hey, figure out this Wii U with your friends and family. But like, I wish they said, here's a whole new park, here's a whole new section. Because I wish all the games were multiplayer. Because I'm like, come on, the Wii U is not a single-player system. Okay, it can be, but it's definitely designed like Nintendo. The minute Nintendo said, hey, here's 4 controller ports, you're like, okay, it's on now. Let us have fun with friends. So there you go. Go take a swig of this cookies and cream. Cookies and cream juice. Doesn't help while you're talking. Okay. Clogs your throat. Hey, you can't speak, right? Oh, you guys actually got me to go over the hour. Good job. Unless you guys got something to do, I can go away. I don't want to take up your time. So that's the iWatch, I guess. I know nothing about it, so I'm not going to say much more on the matter. Let's see. There's some interesting news in animation recently. Scandalous, one may say, if the article was to be taken truly. A little while ago, the big major studios were caught doing something called price fixing. Essentially what they're doing is each studio made hidden agreements that no one would pay more than a certain amount for animators and artists. And all you kind, good, talented folks out there, none of you can hope for better pay anywhere else, so you basically stay where you are, content with the money you got, because there's no chance of getting more. This is not in the most legal thing of doing, because it creates no competition or market, so you can't be like, all right, Disney, I'm leaving for DreamWorks, or all right, DreamWorks, I'm leaving for ILM, or ILM, I'm leaving for Sony, or whatever it is. It's like you're basically stuck at wherever you are because there's no better pay anywhere you go, and it's like more of a risk to leave, and it's like basically they got caught, of course, and I think there's a lawsuit going on about that now. Look into that. I didn't get a chance to really read the whole, there's a Cartoon Brew article, but be sure to check that out, because this is important stuff, especially if you want to get into animation. You want to know that you have a fair shake at getting a better pay, where like people can be like, hey, come to our studio, we like your stuff, we can pay you super dollars, and you're like, I want those super dollars, but it's like, hey, come to our studio, we can't give you anything more than you're getting now. Actually, part of that hidden agreement, too, I believe, was no one was allowed to poach from each other, so like DreamWorks couldn't go and like try to get people from you know, Disney, and Disney couldn't go to get people from ILM. It was like you were stuck, basically. Yeah, it's not nice. So go work for Leica up in Portland. Go see Box Trolls. I know nothing about it. I will check it out, but like, man, Coraline is fantastic. Friggin' Paranorman. They're strange movies because tonally they're not really like anything you have seen in North American animation. I feel like it's Paranorman. If you haven't seen it yet, do definitely check it out. Like the marketing on it was kind of here or there, but the actual movie itself has like these moments that you're just like, oh my, I just got chills in my hair thinking about it. I will forever remember the moment of that movie where you could have heard a pin drop in the theater because everyone was just like, what? Yeah. It was heavy, that movie. It was just like, there was, wow. Oh, fucking brilliant movie. Sorry for swearing, but man, Leica, they're making things that I like. Okay, who is your favorite character in Mario Kart? Asked Lillian. Not to be, what's the word, narcissistic or something like that? I don't know. But I like the Mii's best, honestly. I like just seeing ourselves driving around because, like, you can watch the replays with like Toad or with any of the Kooplings. You're like, all right, they're just driving around. But when you see like you and your friends and your family like on the course, like screwing up and throwing shells at each other, I watch the replays every damn time and like slow them down just because it's so funny, just to see like where everyone was at or what went wrong or who threw that shell at who. And like I have yet to do the like online. I've done like 1 or 2 online rounds with some friends. I haven't done too many because I don't actually know too many people who have the Wii U because, you know, people just are buying too many of them. But when you do it, it's just so cool to see like everyone you know is on the track and you're all characters. And this is also why I'm really excited for the new Smash Bros. To include the Mii's, because I'm like, you're damn right I want to like have the Mii, and I love the Mii's. Like I don't care. Like Xbox got it right, I guess. Like I like their little characters. They're cute because there's like. If you're on my Xbox account, there's like me standing there with my Jet Set Radio goggles and a lumpy Space Princess shirt, you know. And I'm like, yeah, that's me, and I got a beard, whatever. Sony got it completely wrong with their stupid PlayStation Home thing. That was just like this weird commercial version of The Sims that made no sense. Where basically all I did was make couch forts where I just piled couches on top of each other. I'm like, well, I'm done with this. But the Mii's, there's just something like really endearing with how they've dealt with them. Like they're kind of like here or there on the Wii, but on the Wii U, the whole interface is like the TV turns on, and then all of the Mii's that are on your system show up in the middle of town square, and they're like, oh hey, what's going on? And on your birthday, they all applaud for you, which is adorable. And then all these other Mii's from around the web run in, and they're just, hey, I'm talking about Mario Kart, and they're like, oh, I'm talking about Shovel Knight, oh, I'm talking about this and that. And it's just like. It creates this feeling of a community, even if you don't, like me, you don't interact with them at all, but you still feel like, hey, it's the Wii world. This is really kind of cute. I'm in this downtown. My main menu is this downtown square, which is really kind of cute. Now I'm going to play Mario Kart. So to answer your question, yes, I like the Mii's best in Mario Kart. Also because based on the height and weight of your design, your character fits different weight classes. And so what occurred to me is you could technically make your baby version of yourself. Since there is baby Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, you can have baby you if you go into your Wii settings and change your Mii into like a really tiny person. So there you go. What was okay? I don't know what came next. I'm just going for what's voted highest. Voted at 2 points. See, voting counts. We have Ariel Chan asking. You might have answered this since Katie draws. What do you usually work on? Do while live? Well, like on the show. I don't do anything. I just talk to you guys. Because if I was typing, that'd be distracting as hell. Here's a case in point. Let's do Shanahanigans live. Shaggy's writing version. Hey, welcome to Shanahan live. On. Huh. Look that up. See, that's what would happen. It wouldn't be terribly interesting if I was writing during the live show. So my portion in the live show is to keep you guys, you know, I field the questions, you know, because Katie's usually looking at a thing, and she doesn't actually, when we're on separate computers, she doesn't actually see the questions. So like, I have to do all that. So I talk, I yap on, which is usually great because most of my jobs involve me being like in front of a computer, headphones on, dead silent, don't talk to the world, don't acknowledge my coworkers. So when I get on the show, I'll say everything. I'll just talk to you guys, and I'll smile for once. It's great. That's what I do. Thanks for the question. Whatever order this is, we got Sarah saying, might go see the special presentation on the Stop Motion Festival. Usually they let the audience play with the props and puppets. Pretty awesome. I played with the Coraline and Zombie and Norman puppets 2 years ago. A little while ago, the Toronto studio Cup of Coffee, which does a lot of stop motion work. I also do like Ugly Americans and things like that. I don't know if that's just one. But the point was, the point was they were recently moving to a new location, so they actually had like a big studio sale. I didn't go there to check it out. Like I actually worked there a while ago, but I just didn't have the time to go in. But I was curious if they were selling like old puppet rigs, old stop motion rigs. So that would have been really cool to have because they make really nice puppet rigs. That the process is basically you make a skeleton, then you make a foam mold or whatever the material is, sorry, I don't really know, of like your puppet, and you put the skeleton inside it, you make the mold, then all of a sudden you have a bendy, twisty figurine that you can like, usually they'll either not have mouths at all or they have swappable, and in the Coraline and like the Leica case, they often do have fully swappable like lower and upper face, which means they have to paint out these lines in post, which that'd be a big pain to do. But they do it, I guess. But some studios like the Kappa, they just had like blank slots where we would use for reference of where we're going to put these digital mouths that look basically like their clay as well, or whatever material it would be. And that that method actually allows you to do a lot more reworking that you don't have to reshoot. You can like change what they say. The head gestures, you'll might have to remap the footage, but this was like a TV series, so they had less time to kind of like make changes. But the point is, it would have been cool to like get some backgrounds. Like they probably were selling some old houses, some trees, and things like that, some props. And that'd be kind of neat to have. And like they probably had tech too, like stop motion cameras. If you want to do stop motion yourself, I know there's a lot of kind of like low budget software out there, like still frame stuff. ILM, no, was it the Film Board, National Film Board NFB has like an app for the iPad, and that's like a stop motion app, I guess you can do like on your mobile. But I believe the one that everyone else uses is called, is it called like Dragon or something like that? I forgot the name, unfortunately. But I saw them using it at this Robot Chicken display I saw at a Comic-Con. And the coolest part was the guy was controlling his software through a Nintendo Power Glove that he rigged up to the computer so that he can do all his like take a frame back, frame forward on his hand without reaching over to the thing. So dude was doing stop motion and like, I'm like, you're the coolest man ever. Wish I could do that. Not a programmer. We got James. It's loading. Come on. There you go. James saying, I believe it was Sony Animation that called out the other studios when they were soliciting to join in on the wage fixing. Sad stuff to find out. Yeah, I think an article I read earlier was talking about how Sony was the ones being like, what's this all about? We're trying to hire people, and people were like pissed off. And basically the emails that got leaked was all like, these guys at Sony are trying to take our people because they could pay them more. We got to teach them the meaning of respect. And it's just like, this is weird. This is the side of animation I know nothing about. The shady side. I'm on the happy side of animation with all jokes and fun. I'm trying to get into the voice work too. So if you guys need like voice reel stuff, if you need a scratch track, and you like my baritone, if that's right, or my high voice, no enthusiasm, I'm tired. The point is, I'm trying to do more voice work, so if you need a scratch track, get in touch with me and I might hook you up with my lovely voice. Gravity Falls, of course. I sing praises of that show all the damn time because I love it so much. I haven't watched too much of Season 2 yet. I've been busy. But if you haven't been watching it, jump on. Season 2 started off in a big way. Big way. It ended in a big way. And it started in a big way. A different kind of big way, but still a big way. Check out that action. Recently, of course, too, you may have seen this. The Teens React To series had Teens React to the NES, speaking of Nintendo, where they give the youth of today the NES entertainment system and have them figure it out and play games on it. I knew what I was going to see getting into it, of course, and I don't begrudge anyone of their opinions or whatever, because it's old technology. I wouldn't go back either. I'm sorry. I love the aesthetic of 8-bit and how fun and jaunty it was, and I have treasured memories of Mario 3 and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, some of the best games. Capcom made a lot of good Disney games back in the day. It was an interesting partnership, but they knew what they were doing. But yeah, you wouldn't need to go back. You can probably just download the games again on your Wii U anyway, so what's the point? So check that out. Guest star Arya Stark from Game of Thrones is on it, so that's fun. You can watch that. What was it? There's something else I wanted to talk about. Speaking of more controversy, or controversy, if you will. Yelp. I'm assuming this is true because I just read one article and I go, damn. Yelp, of course, the website that's all about like businesses and stuff like that. Supposedly, they recently went through a law and got it approved that basically allows them to change the rating of a company or a restaurant or a store if they're paid to do so. Not to say, as they wrote, that they would do that, but if they did, it's completely legal. I'm assuming, once again, if this article was fake, tell me, and I'll be like, well, throw that away. But the point is, you can't trust nothing no more. Trust your friends. Ask them what restaurant they go to, and then see how they feel. Just bear that in mind. We got Benjamin saying, awesome. Scratch for board sounds cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll do that. I just need to do more practice, basically. I have a selection of like material that I've done that is all over the damn place. But I do have like a voice reel. I'm actually working on a new version of the voice reel because I've talked to some other friends and about like if I should par it down, is less is more. I don't know what it is. But I will be changing it soon. Oh gosh, plastic wrap. I'll probably be wrapping up shortly because I don't want this to be too long, and I think there's food downstairs. So if you guys have any other questions, post them up quick times. Otherwise, I'm going to start shutting down because I think I'm out of topics actually. Yeah, say like Jupiter. Yeah, I feel kind of good. You guys feel good? I feel good. I feel it's about time to wrap up. Throw on your questions really quick time. I'm going to take another sip of this creamy junk. Blech. Blech. I don't think there's anything else coming up. Okay, so to wrap up, Destiny came out, of course, today-ish. If you guys are playing it, tell me what you think. I probably won't be able to play it for a while until I get the mad monies and I can get me a new game system. Not that I need one. Too many distractions as it is. So the TIFF is going on right now, of course, Toronto International Film Festival. Be sure if you're in the Toronto area to check it out. Look up all the things that are happening. There's some animated films, of course. There's some great documentaries. Thoroughly recommend the documentary on the Studio Ghibli. I believe, once again, it's called Kingdom of Madness, Kingdom of Dreams and Madness. Really good doc. Beyond that, I'm trying to think if there's anything. I don't think there's anything else coming up at the TIFF. I know Kevin Smith premiered Tusk, of course. I've always enjoyed Kevin Smith. I haven't seen that yet. I'll check it out at some point. But he also posts some cool behind-the-scenes, like animated behind-the-scenes stories by the guys who do his like animated shorts for the podcast. Check that out. Let's see. This book was, I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to check this out if you're in the biz of writing for comics. It's Brian Michael Bendis' Words for Pictures, the art and business of writing comics and graphic novels. I'm going to give it a quick read soon. And maybe you guys should too, and you can tell me what you guys think and tell me if it's applicable to your life of what you do. This show, of course, is Shanahanigans Live, usually Tuesdays at about 8 o'clock. Usually there's two hosts, but Katie had to go off to meet a bunch of Irish people. Don't know what that entails, but hopefully it means great friendships and bonds will be formed between countries. That's my ambition. I want to visit Ireland soon at some point. Visit the motherland. I have no connection to my heritage. Our books, of course, Silly Kingdom. There's a copy right here. That's convenient. Silly Kingdom, Malcolm Rickshaw's 211th birthday. Now, with all the scandal going on between all these big companies and blah, 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 it's nice to know that there's books out there that are scandal-free. I assume. I don't think there's any backdoor dealings involved in this book. The most scandal-free book. Put a quote on the cover. Quote on the cover. Scandal-free. Silly Kingdom, Malcolm Rickshaw's 211th birthday. You can get it at Shanahanigans website, S-H-A-N, spelled like that here, A-H-A-N-I-G-N-S, or you can go to sillykingdom.com. It's a lot easier, probably. There you can also pre-order the next volume, but we are still working on it, so maybe don't rush yourself. We're getting it done. It's looking good. It's looking great. I'm enjoying it. You can check that out. And, yeah, beyond that, we have a Shenanigans Show Monkeys book as well. That's on the website, of course. All that and more on our website. So be sure to watch the show each Tuesday. You can also follow the Facebook, Shanahanigans Live, or just Shanahanigans on Facebook. And that's where the most recent up-to-date stuff will be showing up for you guys to enjoy. Unless there's any other questions, I think that's about it. And, yeah, hopefully next week we'll have a full show. Kay will be back. We'll have the accordion opening intro again. And, yeah, do some good writing, do some good drawing, and watch some good shows, too, and read some good things, too, and play some good games. And all those things. Live well. Do not hate your neighbors. Everyone be happy. Enjoy yourself. See you guys next week. Cheers.